What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing my LSU versus Ole Miss prediction. It's going to be a fun matchup, guys. And I've been doing some research on both teams, and go ahead and get started with it. Like I said, Ole Miss is 7-0. They're the number 7 ranked team in the country right now, and they're going against the unranked LSU Tigers. Ole Miss, if I'm not mistaken, has to travel to Baton Rouge, so on the road game for Ole Miss, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens, guys. LSU is coming off a victory against Florida. They won the game 45-35. Very, very good game. It seems like LSU is coming into, settling down with the team as a whole. And they're no slouch, guys, and they got the game at home. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And Ole Miss is coming off a victory against Auburn. Auburn was hanging in there with Ole Miss, but Ole Miss got the victory 48-34. Auburn showed some promise in this game. They was able to move the ball against Ole Miss. So I'm going to give you the stats of both teams. Of course, at quarterback for Ole Miss, they have Jackson Dart. To me, a guy, to me still hasn't gotten to that point where, he's been, that guy for the team. Primarily, Ole Miss is a rushing team, and they got two good running backs, guys, that can just take it to the house, guys. And I'm going to get into their stats. Like I said, Jackson Dart, he has 1,488 yards on the season, and he has 11 touchdowns, but he has 6 interceptions. So, like I said, that's pretty good yardage that he's, put up. He definitely has to clean up on the interceptions, though. But on the flip side, LSU has Jaden Daniels. He has 1,564 yards and 10 touchdowns with 1 interception. So he's done a better job, as far as quarterbacking. Running back, like I said, Ole Miss has a beast of a player in Judkins. Yeah, Quinshawn Judkins, beast of a player. He has 720 yards on the season with 10 touchdowns. I thought Zach Evans was going to be the guy, and Zach Evans is a good player as well. But Quinshawn Judkins just took off. And I'm not mistaken, he's a freshman. So LSU is definitely going to have their hands full dealing with him. And, of course, for LSU, the leading rusher is Jaden Daniels. He has 403 yards on the season rushing, and he scored 6 touchdowns rushing the ball. So Ole Miss definitely going to have their hands full trying to contain Jaden Daniels. He can pass the ball and run it. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. Ole Miss's leading receiver is Jonathan Mingo, and he has 507 yards and 3 touchdowns. So another good player for Ole Miss. And then, of course, LSU has Malik Neighbors, and he has 418 yards with 1 touchdown. So I would like to see, LSU get him more involved in the passing game. Of course, they have, top guy Keyshawn Butte on the team. So, but this is going to be an interesting matchup, guys. Points per game, Ole Miss is averaging 40.9 points a game. LSU is averaging 33.7. So Ole Miss has the advantage there. Points allowed per game, Ole Miss is allowing 17.3. LSU is allowing 21.3. So, Ole Miss has the advantage there. Total yardage, Ole Miss is averaging 402 yards per game. LSU is averaging 443. So the edge goes to Ole Miss. And if you were to break that down, Ole Miss is averaging 231 passing, and they're averaging 271 rushing. So like I said, Ole Miss is primarily a running team. LSU is averaging 443 yards per game, and they're averaging 269.6 in the air, and they're averaging 173.4 on the ground. So LSU's a little bit better passing team than Ole Miss. And that's kind of weird, but that's why this matchup is going to be interesting. Yards allowed, Ole Miss is allowing 346 per game. LSU is allowing 338 per game. So LSU has a slightly better defense. And if we were to break that down, Ole Miss is allowing 202 through the air, and they're allowing 144 on the ground. So, and LSU is averaging 192 through the air, and they're allowing 145 on the ground. So they're kind of neck and neck as far as what they allow on the ground. But LSU is a lot better than, well, maybe about, let's say about 10 yards a difference as far as, passing yards. So both teams are kind of identical. Just Ole Miss scores a little bit more points. But it's going to be an interesting matchup, guys. And I'm going to break down their last games that they just played. Like I said, last game, Ole Miss with Jackson Dart, he was only able to get 130 yards through the air. So, like I said, he got 3 touchdowns, but, that's low, output for a quarterback, And like I was saying, Ole Miss, primarily a rushing team. Quinshawn Judkins, he was able to get 39 yards on the ground against Auburn. And Zach Evans was right there with him. He got 136 on the ground. Quinshawn Judkins had 2 touchdowns and Zach Evans had 1. So Ole Miss was able to get 3 rushing touchdowns against Auburn. And they got a whopping 448 yards on the ground, guys. They completely ran through Auburn's defense. And I'm going to look at their team stats. Like I said, Ole Miss was able to get 578 total yardage against Auburn. Like I said, 130 through the air and 448 on the ground. So they gave up 441 total offense to Auburn, though. Auburn was able to get 140 through the air, and they got 301 on the ground. So Ole Miss did pretty good, not allowing Auburn to pass the ball. But Robbie Ashford is not really a good passing quarterback, so that's going to be interesting in this matchup to see what happens. But Auburn did rush for 301, so Ole Miss is they're good at running the ball, but they're going to have to be able to stop the run, So interesting matchup. With LSU, Jaden Daniels, he threw for 349 yards against Florida. Very, very good. Jaden Daniels did a heck of a job passing the ball. He got 3 touchdowns as well. Of course, Keyshawn Butte had 115 yards receiving, but he didn't record a touchdown. But Jeray Jenkins got a touchdown with 67 yards. Brian Thomas Jr. got a touchdown with 31 yards. And John Emery got 24 yards on a touchdown. So, like I said, Jaden Daniels is a dual threat. He can take off at any minute and he can pass the ball. So he did a pretty good job against Florida. Team stat-wise, LSU was able to get 528 total yards of offense. They got 349 through the air, and they got 179 on the ground. So LSU was able to move the ball effectively, both passing and running. On the flip side of that, Florida was able to get 395 total yards of offense. They got 185 in the air, and they got 210 on the ground. So LSU is going to have to stop the run as well. They're going against a very, very good running team, and Florida was able to get 210 on the ground. Limiting Florida to 185 was pretty, good. But we all know, Anthony Richardson is not really good at passing the ball. So looking interesting, to see what's going to happen in this matchup. I guess I'll go ahead and give my prediction. Now, I was looking at the line. As of right now, I think it's -2 for LSU. I can see that, guys. This is going to be a close matchup. I don't know which way to lean on this. In situations like this, I would like to lean towards, the home team. And like I said, this is being played in Baton Rouge. And Ole Miss is undefeated. They won their games and they look pretty good. But if I had to pick a team to win this game, I'm leaning towards LSU. And the reason behind that is if some kind of way, LSU can stop the run. Because like I said, primarily Ole Miss is a running team, and they have some electric running backs, and Judkins and Evans. So it's going to be a tall task for LSU, but I trust LSU to get it done, be able to stop the run. You know, um, I don't trust Jackson Dart to win the game for him. I feel like if LSU stops the run, they'll try to force Jackson Dart to win the game, and I don't think Jackson Dart is there yet as far as winning the game throwing. You know, maybe it'll be his season next year, but I just don't see him win the game throwing. That would be my game plan if I was playing against Ole Miss right now, to stop the run first. Like I said, it's going to be a tough task though. Um, but I got LSU win the game. If I had to give a prediction, I'm thinking 20. Nah. I'm gonna say 35 to 31. LSU 35-31. Um, yeah, I think LSU would get enough stops. I think they have the slightly better defense, and like I said, they just have to stop the run. But yeah, I think 35-31. Um, Ole Miss will get their first loss. It'll be a close game, but I think LSU is going to pull it out with the home crowd advantage. And Jaden Daniels able to pass the ball. You know, Ole Miss is going to have to deal with him passing the ball and running. And we all know Jaden Daniels can extend plays with his legs. And Ole Miss showed against Auburn that you can run on them. And Robbie Ashford was able to extend some plays. So, in my opinion, Jaden Daniels is a better version of Robbie Ashford. You know, can pass the ball and can run it. So, I'm picking LSU. Pull this out at home, and Ole Miss gets their first loss. But what do you guys think? You know, leave your thoughts in the comment section. And once again, guys, if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys, and roll tide.